In this video, we're going to look at using the table of contents in NMONESOURCE.COM. So here on the left-hand side of the screen, under a tab labeled TOC, we have the table of contents. This is a great way to view at a glance the contents of this site. Each of these main headings is roughly equivalent to an individual collection or database of documents. As I'm sure most of you know, you can actually open up these folders and step down through the various headings and hierarchies, much like you would the table of contents in a book, with the added feature of being able to click on a document in the table of contents and being able to open it up right here in the document window. Let's take a look. I am going to open up the New Mexico Statutes annotated folder. I'm going to drill down to Chapter 16, Parks and Recreation, and then Article 2, Section 2.1, State Park Volunteers. So the most basic feature of the table of contents is the ability to navigate directly to a document or a category of documents that you might be looking for. You click on a plus sign to open up a folder. You click on a minus sign to close it back up. Now the table of contents window is a little on the narrow side, and one question I occasionally hear is, how can I see the entire heading? I can't see the entire heading, and let me give you two answers. First, you can make this window wider yourself by grabbing on the edge and dragging. Now it takes a little patience because there's not a lot of room to grab, but when you see this two-sided arrow, click and drag, and you can open this way up. The second solution is to simply hover over a heading for a second, and you will see the heading pop up right under the mouse. You see that? Also notice that with the statutes and with the rules, you will see to the right of the section or rule heading a number in parentheses. This is the year that the statute or the rule was last amended. A helpful piece of information as you're browsing the contents. Feature number 2 of the table of contents is the ability to use it to view hits. After a search, the table of contents displays the number of hits that fall under each heading. I'm going to type in the phrase identity theft, and I'm going to use quotes asking for a phrase search. I'm going to change the scope of this search here to NMSA and New Mexico cases, and I'm going to click search. And while I get my results here, I also see numbers appear over here in the table of contents. And I can step down into this to see more specifically where these hits are coming from. 1 in the state constitution, 11 in the statutes, 9 in the court rules, 6 in the Court of Appeals. Now, a well-guarded secret is that you can actually choose to display just the headings with hits in NMONESOURCE.COM. How do you do that? It's over here, this button right here, Options. I'm going to click on Options. Second checkbox down is Hide Headings that have no hits, or in other words, show the headings with the hits. and then you need to click Save. And then from here on out, all of your searches will now display only the headings with hits in the table of contents. And you can see already that only the headings with hits are displayed. You can then use the table of contents as an alternative method for navigating through your results. Headings with hits. So one final note on this: if you like working in headings with hits mode, you will begin to appreciate this button right here, Clear Search. If you want all of your headings back for navigating, you need to clear search. Click, boom, your table of contents is now restored. And one final feature of the table of contents that I want to introduce to you in this segment is the ability to target or to limit the scope of your search using the table of contents. Most of you may never need or want to use this feature. Most of the custom search forms on this site already have built-in mechanisms for targeting your search. But if you're really looking for more power and flexibility in targeting your searches, let me show you what you can do. I'm going to click on one of these power searches, which broadens the scope of my search to any or all of the databases on this site. This is a really nice search form, which I'm sure we'll discuss in detail in another segment. But for now, notice that the table of contents still appears, but now there are checkboxes by each heading. This is true for all the custom search forms. Whenever you see checkboxes in the table of contents, you have the option of using them in your search. Over here, you notice that I already have the ability to choose what databases to search. But in this case, I want something much more specific. So I'm going to search for the Gasoline Tax Act. And I am particularly interested in Chapter 7 of the statutes and Title 3 of the Administrative Code. And for good measure, let's see what the Attorney General has to say. So I click Search, and oh look, we're still set to view just the headings with hits. We have 44 hits in the statutes in Chapter 7. It looks like this is actually the Gasoline Tax Act right here. We have 3 Attorney General opinions. And we have 35 hits in Title 3 of the Administrative Code, with the overwhelming majority falling right here under motor vehicle fuel taxes. Let's go back to the search form. So I can use any combination of these checkboxes to target my search. Any combination of titles, chapters, articles, parts, courts. I can span a range of years in the courts, all by using the table of contents. If there's a checkbox by the heading, I can target it. So that concludes this segment. We've looked at 3 different ways to use the table of contents. One is stepping down through the various levels to find a document. Number 2 is using the table of contents to view your hits. And 3, using the table of contents to target your search. I hope this has been helpful.